Hello, everyone. My name is Nikhil Parekh. I am a Senior Solutions Architect at AWS. In this video, I'll walk you through the process of enabling AWS Global Accelerator, or AGA, for Amazon WorkSpaces Personal. This feature can help improve user experience for remote users connecting to WorkSpaces Personal over long distances. Now, before we get into the demo, let's discuss the scenario where this feature helps. Customers often host their workspaces in specific AWS regions due to regulatory or logistics reasons. Customers often have users around the world who connect to these workspaces for their day-to-day work. Sometimes these users may be connecting to workspaces over long distances from remote parts of the world and sometimes over unreliable networks. This may result in a less than optimal user experience for these users. WorkSpaces Personal now integrates with AWS Global Accelerator to help solve this. AWS Global Accelerator utilizes the Amazon Global Network, allowing you to improve the performance of your applications by lowering the round trip for packets to go from the client to your endpoint and back. It also helps reduce the variation in latency and helps increase throughput as compared to the public internet. This in turn can help improve the user experience for remote users. So here's a brief overview of the AWS Global Footprint. It's made up of redundant 400 gigabyte Ethernet private backbone with direct peering with all major ISPs. The Edge network has 700 plus points of presence in 100 plus cities across more than 50 countries with direct peering to all major ISPs in the regions. AWS Global Accelerator is part of this vast global footprint with 119 points of presence across 94 cities and 51 countries. With this expansive global network, when advantageous, the WorkSpaces service automatically routes streaming traffic through the nearest AWS Edge location. Once on the AWS network, the traffic can move across AWS's congestion-free, redundant global network, delivering a more responsive and stable streaming experience. The AGA feature can be enabled either at the workspace directory level or at the individual workspace level for workspaces that run Amazon DCV protocol. Usage of AGA is fully managed by the WorkSpaces service. This is subject to outbound data volume limits that are detailed in the documentation. A note on cost. So there is no additional cost to use the AGA feature for personal workspaces running the DCV protocol. Now, there are a couple of prerequisites you need to be aware of. One is you want to make sure that the desktop firewall or the network firewall does not block IPv4 addresses for the AGA endpoints. The other prerequisite is that WorkSpaces client connecting to the workspace is at least version 5.23 or later, and it supports the DCV protocol. With that, let's jump into the demo. So let's get into the demo. I'm in the AWS console for my AWS account. I will now go to the WorkSpaces console and then click on WorkSpaces Personal. I have a couple of workspaces running here, so I'm going to select one workspace within my account and then scroll down to the AWS Global Accelerator configuration section. Within here, I can come in and click on Edit and manually override the AGA configuration for this workspace. Now, typically, if you have enabled this feature at the directory level, then you don't need to do it at individual workspaces level. But in case you wanted to enable it for specific workspaces, you can do that through this configuration. I'm going to come in here and then enable AGA. And once I do that, I want to make sure that this checkbox is selected. And then I click on Save. And Now AGA is enabled for my specific workspace. Now, if I wanted to enable this feature for all workspaces within a specific directory, I can go to directories, select the directory, and then similar to how we did with the individual workspace, I can scroll down to the AWS Global Accelerator's configuration section, click on edit, and then enable it here. And just like we did at the previous step, we want to make sure this checkbox is selected, and we click on save. And now we can see that the AWS Global Accelerator has now been enabled for the entire directory, and this will apply to all workspaces that are part of this directory. So with that, today I've shown you how to enable the AWS Global Accelerator configuration for both individual workspaces and also at the directory level.